Hi everyone, and welcome. Michelle Rockwood here. I am super excited to have you here today as we together help you create your $1,500 coaching offer that sells with ease. Again, I am Michelle. I am a heart-centered sales expert. I specialize really specifically in the sales conversation. I help you enroll everyone you speak to that's an aligned client into your coaching programs with ease and love the process. I'm not going to waste a moment of your time because I know you are super busy. So let's just go ahead and dive right into it today. And I'll tell you a little bit more about me as we go along today. And today, as I promised, we are going to learn how to create a simple $1,500 offer. We are going to understand the power of the activation fee, not a deposit. And we are going to celebrate and understand why selling coaching is really unique and how you need to work and operate differently in order to be successful and happy. Okay. So some of you joined this training and you're going, why is it $1,500 exactly, right? And I really teach that I want you to pick the number for yourself, but giving you an example of a $1,500 program is a really nice place to start. And when I first started selling my coaching, I had a unique experience in that I had sold for higher end coaching programs. I had sold a nearly $20,000 program for years and years. And so while I had the sales experience, I didn't have the coaching experience, kind of the opposite of where you are now. And I didn't have an amazing offer, right? I just knew I wanted to help people, maybe women that were going back to work like I had after kids. And when I went to sell my coaching, I used the techniques, the skills that I had learned selling a $20,000 program. And even though I didn't have an amazing offer or the coaching skills, people sat up in their chair, listened to me, and purchased on the first call. And I was like, whoa, what is going on? I had made it super simple. I knew that people pay for the payment plan, not the cost of my program, right? I had broken it into 3 simple payments, and I had made it really easy for the client to say yes. And that's what I'm going to teach you here today. And it didn't just work for me with my sales skills. It worked as I shared it and taught it to others. And as I bring you into unscripted sales and I teach you how to host an embodied and heart-centered enrollment call, you can do it too. Okay. All right. So the 1,500 is because of no objections, hardly any objections or buying questions. Easy payment plan. Remember, you're selling the payment plan, not the cost of the program. And this structure can really grow with you. Now I have a group coaching program, right? I work differently, but starting out with a simple structure is really nice way to go. So here is who is with us today. So many unique individuals signed up for this training and applied. Diabetes coach, a business coach. It's funny, this is the second diabetes coach I've worked with this week alone. A millionaire coach. She's already a millionaire teaching other people how to do what she's done. A mental health coach for athletes. So awesome. A human design coach, transformational life coach, a kidney health coach, a divorcee coach. All of the work that we do is so important, right? And I want you to notice, this is us, right? This is us. But one thing we don't have on here, right, is a professional salesperson. None of us are professional salespeople. We're just amazing coaches that want to make an impact on this world, okay? And so in order to be amazing at sales, in order to sell, right, we need to be heart-centered. These are the 3 things that I could teach you how to sell if you're heart-centered, if you are mission-driven, and if you care deeply. And I want to pause here for a minute because I can't teach everyone how to sell. I truly cannot. But if you care deeply about your client, about the planet, oh, hell yeah. Like I can absolutely teach you because that comes through so authentically if you have heart. Okay. So again, I have led a multi 6-figure launches. I have led $1 million sales team. I have now helped hundreds of coaches sell millions of dollars in coaching. And up until now, I've only been inside of bigger coaching programs. I'm bringing this program directly to you so you can learn, if your coaching program didn't teach you, how to sell heart-centered, how to enroll nearly every client you speak to. And when I invited you to this call today, right, I said, what would it be like if you could enroll nearly every client you spoke to? How would you show up differently in your day to day? And that's a question I want you to think about as we go through this training today, is how would your life be different? How would you show up on social media? What would you spend if you're running Facebook ads on ads, right? If you knew that every aligned client you spoke to would enroll in your program. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to how to sell your coaching for thousands. And before we do that, you need to understand what's stopping you from being amazing at sales. What's stopping you from selling your coaching? Well, one of them is this right here today, right? You go, I don't know what I'm offering. I don't know what my niche is. How do I even articulate it? Where do I find these clients, right? And it's stopping you from being amazing at sales. It's stopping you from even learning the process because you think you're not ready. And I know sometimes it can feel like putting the cart before the horse to learn how to sell and enroll people and onboard with ease and to overcome those contractions that clients inevitably have. But it's really a step before you invest in marketing, before you decide how you're going to bring clients in, because that's going to change. It's going to change all the time for you throughout your career. You might start a podcast, you might run ads, you might go to networking events, right? You might host dinner parties online to bring clients in. There's lots and lots of ways for you to bring clients in, but your goal is to figure out which way is aligned with you. And that's what we help you do in Unscripted Sales. We expose you to all these different ways of selling your coaching, not only with trainings, but with experts. And then you have the skills to enroll nearly every client you speak to. And you can hit the ground running no matter where or how you decide to market your services. And being amazing at sales is a choice. Remember, you only need to possess 3 things to be amazing at sales: heart-centered, mission-driven, and to care deeply, okay? This is not an inborn skill. I assure you, it is not something that you are born with, okay? So I want to share a story with you as we get into selling and creating your partnerships with your clients. Now, about 3 years ago, I've been married for 13 years now, but about 3 years ago, I was 10 years into my marriage. I was having a really, really tough time. I have 3 young boys, couple of dogs, a mortgage, right? You don't need me to explain why I went to a therapist. Things were going a little rough. And I found a therapist in a really nice area in my neighborhood here. She had a PhD from an Ivy League, and I sat down in her office and I word vomited all the awful and painful things that were going on in my life. And she said to me at the end of the session, she said, Michelle, I'd love to work with you. When you're ready, go ahead and schedule your next appointment. And I walked out, and I remember getting to my car and just having the biggest sob of my life. My marriage was on the brinks. I was being an awful mom, right? I was struggling to manage it all. And here I went to a PhD. I paid her $125 for that hour. And she said me to go away and schedule when I'm ready. Had that PhD had the skills that I teach you in Unscripted Sales, I imagine her saying something like this. See if you can feel the difference. Michelle, you are 10 years into a marriage. What you are going through is really, really normal. And I don't know if your marriage is going to be saved. I have no idea. But what I do know is that if you commit to yourself, I commit to you, and that 3 months time together, you are going to feel a heck of a lot better knowing that you gave it your all and that you took time to care and connect with yourself. So here's what I suggest we do. Let's go ahead and get you scheduled every other week for the next 3 months. And during our time together, I'm going to give you homework, which you better as heck do. And that homework is going to be go on a date with your spouse, hang out with your kids one-on-one, go get a massage, and do some self-care. Let's go ahead and get you started with that $500 activation today. 30 days later, your first of 2 payments will come out. Do you feel the difference? I wrapped in love and support and held in that time together, in that partnership. And now I have a plan. She could have even said, here's a book to read. Go read this, do this work before our first session together, right? So the difference isn't just the $1,375 that she would have made. The real difference is that she missed out on helping me. And do you want to know what resulted as a result of that? I spun out. I spent almost a year going to marriage counseling. I nearly got divorced. Marriage counseling cost me $125 a week, not to mention $60 in babysitting. I have 3 kiddos, did I mention, right? $740 a month, over $8,000 a year. The cost of you not stepping up and helping the client right in front of you is real. There is a real tangible cost for you not learning how to sell your coaching for thousands and helping the client that is literally sitting their butt in the chair in front of you. This is an absolute partnership. You know, you're not selling something. Selling coaching is different. You're not selling a tangible good, right? You know, and I'm selling sales coaching. I'm teaching you how to be amazing at sales. I'm teaching you how to enroll everybody in your program. But you typically, it's a little bit different. You don't have a deliverable, something you can hand somebody. So what's really important, if you didn't notice it, as to what makes a partnership amazing, it's a start date, an end date, and an exchange of money. And that's it. Start date, end date, exchange of money. And that's so, so important, because think about that therapist that said, okay, go ahead and schedule when you're ready. When am I going to schedule? I'm never going to schedule. There's no end date in mind. So what does this just go on, indefinitely? Having those parameters, those roadblocks up for you really helps you go, okay, during this short period of time, I'm going to sit up, step up, invest, and do the work. It's super, super powerful. It's super, super simple. And I'll give you a few more examples of this. But for those of you who want to know the details again, 3 months of support, meeting every other week, homework or support in between. So here's where it is. You don't need fancy modules. You just respond in real time to the client in front of you. Okay, so I want to make sure you have this. Start date, end date, exchange of money. The stuff you're offering is a 3-month container of support, meeting every other week, and homework and support in between. So do you see how this can really grow with you, right? Pretty soon, after 3, 4, 5 clients, I want you to double that price, right? Now you're at $3,000 a month, okay? Or I want you to offer a 6-month program. And you can really easily double these numbers and really understand. We'll talk a little bit more as we go about the power of the activation fee, okay? But I want you, because I know some of you are still selling single sessions, okay? And I want to talk to you about this a little bit, because single sessions are not cool. And a great way to share this, when the therapy is awesome and you can understand that, but also a personal trainer. This is really, really powerful. I have a personal trainer and she charged me $35 an hour, right? I turned 40 last year and I went to her and I said, hey, I want to come into 40 looking better than ever. Can you help me? And she said, sure, absolutely. Why don't we go ahead and you can schedule whenever you're ready, right? Just like the therapist. So I scheduled the next week and the next, and I came for a few weeks. But at $35 an hour, I was not motivated. She was not helping me in between the sessions, and nothing really changed except my arms got a little bit bigger from lifting weights, right? Had she said to me, Michelle, yes, I can help you, but you're going to have to work your butt off. Are you actually ready to do that? If you're committed, I'm committed to you. Let's go ahead and get you scheduled for the next 6 months, right? For $3,000. Let's meet every single week. And in between the sessions that we're not together, here's our plan, right? Holding me in that container of support with a start date, an end date, and support in between. Doesn't have to be much, just send me a message, tell me to get off the couch, get running, respond to me, tell me what you did this week, what you're eating, all the things, super, super easy. Instead of making a few $100s off of me, basically minimum wage, she could have made thousands. But most importantly, she would have changed my life. And instead of being 10 pounds overweight, heavier than I've ever been, as I reigned into 40, I would have been rocking it. Okay. So it's not okay to charge $35. It's not okay to charge single sessions. Single sessions have this unspoken rule. My mentor, Laura, always says this unspoken rule that I fix you. You come to me for this single session and I do the work for you. When you create a client coaching partnership, you push that off the table and you focus on the time period and the transformation at hand. Just to give you an idea of the numbers, 6 sessions to 10, 6 sessions to 75, 450. But more than this, you have to sell each of those 6 sessions, right? You have to sell them each and every single time as you re-enroll the client over and over and over. And it's absolutely exhausting. So 3 months of support, $1,500, a really great place to start. Laurel, who I'll talk about here in a little bit, she, I think her program was $1,400, right? And so you can break that up over the 3 months, really easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I want to talk about activation here for a second, because it's really important when the client says yes, that you take the money, okay? A client says yes. So often I hear recorded calls and the coach goes, okay, well, how do you want to pay? And I'm like, no, what is wrong with you? How do you want to pay? You need to be very ready when the client says yes to take their money and onboard them into your program. We teach you all of this inside of Unscripted Sales. I'll go over the activation, not a deposit. A deposit is refundable. An activation brings that yes into action, into the next steps, right? Into your program. So let's say you have a $1,500 program. That activation is $500, and the first of 2 payments comes out automatically 30 days later. Let's say you have a $3,000 program. That activation could be $500. You want to play with these numbers, make sure they feel really good to you. And then 2 payments of $1,250, right? You get the picture. A $5,000 program, you might have a $1,000 activation, right? And then 2 payments of $2,000. What's neat too is that I actually teach you in Unscripted Sales how to pre-sell your programs. So let's say it's September, you might sell for January, and you can make those payment plans even longer for ease of the client. And then they have more time to do the thing, work the modules, prep for the start of your program. And that's a really, really nice way to do it. So again, this really, really grows with you, which is awesome. And again, I want you to remember, this is not a deposit, okay? Not a deposit at all. So when you go to sell your coaching, I want you to remember that sales is a choice. I think, look, I'm wearing a similar outfit that I am in this picture. That was not by design. Sales is a choice. And by that, I mean, your goal on a sales call is to help a client decide the actual choice they need to make. And we help you become really skilled at this. We help you take the yuck out of sales. We help you really think about your energy on the sales call in Unscripted Sales. But bringing a client to a choice, is this a yes or a no, is really important to do on that call in 45 minutes. And so having the skills, having the framework to bring a client to choice in their next steps is really, really important. It's a learned skill. You don't want to just get on, be kind, and have a nice conversation. So you'll have a little bit of success with that, but not regular and nothing that you can rely on long-term. And you're not setting your client up for success in your program, which we'll talk about more in Unscripted Sales next week, and a little bit more on the call here today, okay? The problem with traditional sales is there aren't enough hours in the day, there aren't enough dollars in the bank, and you're not a professional salesperson. So sometimes, another thing besides, obsessing about your niche or where you're going to find clients, there's another reason you're not learning the sales conversation. And that's because you have been taught these old ways of sales that were specific to a company, a large company that has a sales team, that has dollars to spend on advertising, that has tons of time. And you don't have any of those things. And so it's really important that you work smarter, not harder. And you talk to 1, 2, 3 clients a month, and you enroll them in your high-priced coaching program. So what you've been taught, they just don't pertain to you. And they're not going to work for you because you don't have the budget, the time, or the skills as a professional salesperson, right? Which that's okay. That's actually what's going to make you amazing at sales. So, the other problem for the client is that you're not selling something tangible, right? I'm not selling a cup to somebody that I don't sell it to everybody. I don't work with everyone, and you shouldn't either. The client has to do the work as well. So it's really important that your client is intrinsically motivated. If you get on a sales call and you're using traditional tactics and you say things like, if you don't do this, your business is going to go under, your marriage is going to fail, and you use scare tactics, they're not intrinsically motivated. And in a coaching program, you really need them to be intrinsically motivated. Their success depends on it. Sales is a choice, right? And you do need to decide. And I love this quote by Oprah that says, nothing happens until you decide, right? Make a decision and watch your life move forward. This is really, really huge. What is your choice? Is it non-negotiable that you sell your coaching, or is it just no big deal if you never sell your coaching, right? How much does it matter to you? And is this choice non-negotiable? And if in fact it is not negotiable for you to sell your coaching, I love to invite you into Unscripted Sales. Unscripted Sales, I'll tell you a little bit more about it as we go at the end. It is a 6-week program, lifetime access to modules, live coaching every week, right? Our goal is for you to make back the investment. And actually the other day, you'll see me share this. A client hired me on Tuesday. We met on Tuesday. On Thursday, she made back her investment with me. Actually, it was double her investment. So what's so cool about this is that not only do you make back your investment when you sell your first coaching program, but now you have the skills to make it over and over and over again. They say when you invest in a program, you want to 10 times your investment in 10 years. Like, no, I want you to do that on the very next call. I want you to make your investment back and back over and over and over again. When you join Unscripted Sales, and again, if you join before this call, I'm bonusing everyone a $500 value 90-minute coaching call with me. But you're really deciding to step into a way of coaching where you take fewer calls and make more sales. So you could, if you had the budget, right? They typically say it takes 7 no's before you get a yes. But instead of working that way, we slow down, we connect with the person in front of us, we methodically bring them to choice, which I'm going to teach you all of this, and we onboard them into our programs. So you're deciding to take fewer calls and make more sales, right? Working smarter, not harder. You're deciding to follow a proven framework with measurable results. Again, we've brought hundreds of coaches through the 5 steps to choice. They're implementing it. I just saw another Jen post that she sold the $3,600 program last week. Really, really awesome. Really excited. This is not limited to $1,500. Last year, we had somebody sell a $10,000 program. Okay. Trust your intuition. This is this a good fit for me? I don't work with everybody. Really, embodiment is at the core of what we do every step of the way. When you join Unscripted Sales, you're deciding to be amazing at sales. Awesome. So I know y'all are busy on time, and I want you to know if you join before the end of the call, there is that bonus waiting for you. Okay. We also want you to know that I am so confident in this process. I am so confident in it that I want you to make your investment back in just one sale. You will love selling unscripted, and we'll teach you how to make back your 2K investment, guaranteed. Okay? So no worries. I want you to feel really confident in your investment with me. So it's $2,000, and you get everything that we've talked about so far: immediate access to the 5-step process. You get weekly live coaching calls for 6 weeks. You get unlimited support through the Voxer app. So I actually, instead of using a Facebook group, I use an app, and we connect on that, which is really, really nice. It's having me in your pocket. So if you're having a call and you're nervous, you can message me. If they said maybe and you don't know what to do, you can message me. If you're not sure about the pricing in your program, you can send me a really quick box, and I can respond to you in real time really, really quickly. It's super easy for me, and it's a huge, huge value add for you. You have lifetime access to the course and to all the trainings. So we teach you how to set yourself up for a yes before you even get the client on the phone, which Rachel, I'm gonna ask you to speak into that a little bit later. And then we teach you how to take the money, how to onboard a client into your program. And we teach you how to methodically bring your client to choice, how to rock your offer, bring a client to yes, overcome any buying questions or talk through them. And then we also bonus you modules around marketing, selling, finding the clients. There's 12 modules that help support you in deciding, right? Make a decision on how it is that you want to go about finding clients. It's one thing to purchase a program that says find clients this way. You spend 20 grand, you get to the end of it, you're like, God, I really don't like that method. I want to expose you to all of them to see what's worked for me, right? I love challenges. Those are really fun for me, but they might not be fun for you. I love a podcast. I have a new podcast, How I Sold It, right? Where we go behind the scenes and see how people find, sell, and deliver their coaching programs. I want to expose you to all of it. So then you'll have the skills to sell no matter how you're marketing your services. So that was a lot in a short period of time, but you learned how to create a simple $1,500 offer, right? You started to understand the power of the activation fee, right? Not a deposit. Take that yes, get that yes on that first call, and enroll your client in your program with ease. And you've started to understand why selling coaching is so unique, right? It is so unique to sell coaching. It's unlike anything else. What I'm going to do is I am going to actually bring Rachel back up, and I am going to ask her to share a little bit about her experience. Because Rachel, before she learned to sell unscripted, she's always been amazing at what she does. But she was like this little teeny tiny beautiful flower, and she wasn't posting on social media, and she wasn't advertising her services, and she was not enrolling everyone that she speaks with, right? But after she came through unscripted sales, she really started to blossom. And Rachel, if it's okay with you, I'd love to bring you up and have you share with us what that was like for you.
Prior to meeting you, I had some sales training. It didn't really connect with the sales training. I kind of understood it. It was more, but I didn't connect to it, right? And so when I met you, I was like, oh, I already, like in back of my mind, I was like, I already know what she's going to tell me. And then you shared, and I went through the process, and I'm like, this is so different from what I was taught prior to. And this feels so much better than what I was taught. It helped me connect back to my own why before every call. And so that I could show up, instead of being like, I have to book this client, it was, is this even the right client for me? And it shifted how I wrote content. It shifted how I pre-qualified people to come to the call, so that when people actually finally got to the call, like, they were already on board before we even kind of had a conversation. It was just more to make sure the details are in place, right? So, I mean, it's so much easier to transition and say, okay, here's the program, here's what it costs. And they're like, okay, let's do this. It was such a beautiful process compared to what I was taught before. I think if you don't know how to sell someone on the phone and you're getting them on the phone, then it's going to be an awkward conversation. It's going to be kind of like you're stumbling over your feet, and they probably won't say yes, or very unlikely to say yes. And the thing that I noticed when I got a lot of no's in prior to it killed my own confidence a little bit. Like I would be like, oh my, do I even is this even working? Am I cut out for this? Maybe I should just throw in the towel. Like we all those like negative thoughts, versus understanding how to guide someone through a conversation and know that like my service is needed. It's just, are they the right person for it? And I think you do such a beautiful job of helping newbies get started with understanding. It's simplifying it, really. You're simplifying their coaching program down to something very simple. They can sell it for a profit, and get some momentum, get some confidence built, and get their hands in the clay and really understand what it is they do, what they want to do, how they want to do it, right? You only can figure those things out when you have a client and you have someone to like work through those issues with.
Thank you so much for being here today, Rachel. I really just appreciate you, and you're so inspirational.
Thank you, Michelle. You're amazing.
Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Again, unscriptedsales.com. Come on into the program. We will teach you how to love sales, how to rock it with your whole heart and soul. And I can't wait to talk to you soon. See you inside.